Hi guys, welcome back to Geography World. For this video, we're going to be looking at the CSEC 2015 paper 2, and for this video, I'll be looking at question number 5. Stay tuned. Comments and requests, and I will act on them. Please remember to follow Geography World channel on Instagram and Facebook using the link shown on the screen. Please remember to like, share with your friends, and subscribe. For person wishing to contact me privately, you may email me at geographyworld100@gmail.com. The link will be posted below. Question number 5. You're given a table that shows the number of births and deaths in Jamaica between 1971 and 1985. So we're to look at the statistics for Jamaica and we're to answer the questions that follow. So part 1 to the question asks that you calculate the number of births that occur in 1975. So in 1975 you can see that it's blank and you have to basically calculate the number of births, and that's 1 mark. Now in order for you to do that, what you'll have to do is add 15,800, which is the death rate, plus 45,700, which is the natural increase. In order to get the birth rate, you have to add the natural increase and the death rate in order to ascertain the birth rate. So that is be 61,500. So remember that the birth rate and the death rate, the death rate from the birth rate, that is basically what gives us the natural increase, hence the reason we are adding. Part 2 to the question asks that we determine the natural increase for 1985. So 1985, it is blank. And remember that in order to ascertain the natural increase, we have to subtract the death rate from the birth rate. So it's 50,200 minus 13,900, and we are left with 36,300. That's 1 mark. Part 3 to the question asks that we calculate the number of deaths that occur in 1981. So in 1981 we need to know how many deaths took place. Now in order to do that, we have to subtract the natural increase from the birth rate, which is 59,400 minus 44,200. We're left with 15,200. So the death rate is 15,200. Now part 4 to the question asks that we describe the pattern of death from 1971 to 1985. And if you look at the pattern of death, which is here, you realize that the death rate fluctuates, meaning it was low here, then it increased, then it drops, then it increased, then it drops. So once you look at that, you know that it fluctuates. That's 1 mark. B to the question asks that we define the term population density, and that's 2 mark. Population density, it refers to the number of people living in an area expressed per square kilometer or kilometer. Once you're able to use that definition, that's 2 marks. Part 2 asks that you state 2 characteristics of urbanization. Now, an increase in the proportion of percentage of the people in a city living in town, that is what we classify as urbanization, when the cities or towns increase in the population. Now 2 characteristics of urbanization are: 1, the growth in the number of urban settlements; 2, changes in the economic activities from primary to secondary to tertiary. You have higher population density, you have the development of infrastructure due to the fact that you have more persons leaving the rural areas heading into the urbanized areas, so they will basically be improving the urban areas to meet the needs of its growing population. So once you are able to identify any 2, then 2 marks should be yours. Part 3 asks that you outline 2 causes of urbanization in the Caribbean. So two causes of urbanization include, let's outline two causes of urbanization in the Caribbean. Two causes of urbanization in the Caribbean is one, due to the lack of necessary amenities that are found in the rural areas, such as hospitals, schools and universities, and other necessary amenities. Due to those areas, rural areas lacking those resources, you'll realize that a lot of persons are moving towards the urban areas. Another cause for urbanization in the Caribbean is due to the lack of jobs in the rural areas. Urban areas are seen as a job booming area. Hence, persons leave the rural areas and head to the urban areas in search of jobs. Urban areas have better standards of living, better entertainment facilities, better paying jobs, better schools, and it's basically the economy hub for most countries. Hence the reason you'll realize a lot of persons they migrate to the urban area. Once you were able to just outline any two of these causes, then 4 marks should be yours. Part C to the question asks that you explain factors that have influenced the distribution of population in the Caribbean, and here to include an example of each factor. You may use different Caribbean countries. Now, remember when we talk about population distribution, we are talking about how persons are spread out over the land. So here we need to ascertain what influence persons to spread out over the land. First thing you can talk about is the topography of the land. Most of the Caribbean territories, they have a flat coastal plain which you will find a high population, and then you have a hilly or mountainous terrain where you'll find sparse to no population at all, for example in Jamaica. You can also look at the vegetation and the soil type. Areas that have fertile land, you'll realize that that's where agriculture takes place, and that's where the population will be concentrated, as opposed to areas where the land is not fertile. You'll realize that the population is very sparse. Natural resources, for example, bauxite mining in Jamaica, due to the fact that the bauxite mining company basically, or it started in Nain, in St. Elizabeth, Jamaica, you'll realize that the population there grew rapidly, basically developing Nain into a town. We can look at economic reasoning. Along the coastal plains, it's used for tourism. You'll realize that a lot of Caribbean territories, they have tourist industries established along their coastal areas, which will basically encourage persons to migrate to these areas in search of jobs in the tertiary areas. Where our urban centers are also located is another reason why we have the population migrating to a certain part. Most of the Caribbean countries, their urban centers are located closer to the coast, due to the coast being flatter and even more accessible to the ports. You can use Kingston, Jamaica as an example. Now, there are many other factors that will basically help to determine how a population is distributed. I gave you 5. You can talk about the topography of the land, you can talk about the soil fertility, you can talk about natural resources, you can talk about the economic, and you can talk about urban, where the urban center is located. Once you're able to do that, that is 12 marks. That would be a total of 24 marks.
We are at the end of this video. Thank you for watching, and please remember to like, share, subscribe, and turn on your post notification bell in order to receive more videos like these. Leave comments below suggesting topics that you would want me to present on. In the comment section below, comment the name of your school and the territory for a shout out in my next video. Until then, bye.